TCU in its own backyard, and a premature start here for the charcoal-clad Oklahoma Sooners. Winner meets West Virginia. Of course, TCU last met West Virginia in the final back in 2016, almost upset the Mountaineers, who would go on and play in the College Cup final that year. And quickly finding the ball here, Cameron Lancaster, first team all Big 12 this year as a sophomore. Pena. Well, is there anything for these two teams to learn from our first semifinal today?
They've got to bring it. I mean, at this level, any team can really win if they play hard. I mean, we've seen teams outshot by 20 goals and still find a way to win. So at this point, you've really, every single game you've got to treat as win or go home, and that really is the truth for Oklahoma. I mean, they're playing like they really have nothing to lose. They're getting after teams. They feel like they're in a good position to make some upsets this week.
Of course, we say upset because the seeding, but West Virginia's only loss this year was to Texas, and that's because, in essence, West Virginia had gone down a player due to a red card. There were 4 Big 12 teams this year with 1 loss or fewer in conference by virtue of being unbeaten. Texas had enough points to win that regular season title outright, but it's the Mountaineers who move on. Oklahoma already beat one-loss team, and Texas Tech back on Sunday. Opportunity here for the Horned Frogs on the edge of the box with Hennessy. And a corner kick opportunity here early on as Mark Carr's Sooners will try to hold them off on the set piece.
Speaking with Coach Carr before the game, he's just really feeling proud of his squad and the strides that they've made in the style of play, and then also the edge that they have, kind of the mentality. And, he feels like that's the intangible with this squad, is that they really want to win.
Horned Frogs with the short corner, trying to find a favorable angle from Lancaster into the box, looking for that top right 90, and the header goes wide to the far post, almost perfectly played by TCU.
They've got to really keep track of Messiah Bright in the box. So good with her head. We think of her as so good on the ball, but a really good header as well. You see herself getting some separation there, just jumping up, trying to get over top of the ball.
Eric Bell and Ryan Higginbotham have been side by side literally for the past 11 years together in the Big 12. Eric in the black cap seated. We'll let Ryan Higginbotham send out some instructions throughout this one. Those two are always on the same page, but what a tandem they have been. If TCU reaches the Big 12 final this year, it'll be their 6th Big 12 final, never doing it with the same seed. They made it first as the 8, 7, and 6 seed. They've since made it as the 3, and last year the 1. This year trying to make it as the number 2 seed. But for one of these two teams to make it to that final, what stands out to you?
Well, for TCU, I think a couple of their keys is to move the ball quickly. They're getting off to a great start right now. Sometimes, though, they move the ball a bit too slow, and it doesn't open things up. They're moving the ball at a sharp pace right now, and it really is helping the ball get forward. And then, ultimately, if a team plays high pressure, like Oklahoma did in the quarterfinal against Tech, they've got to figure out a way to solve it and not kind of devolve into a kickball-type game or a direct game. They want to play their style, and sometimes it's like this, just having to solve a little pressure and swinging it across the back.
Right now the ball on the feet of Lauren Kellett. We had co-goalkeepers of the year this year in the Big 12. Kellett was not one of them, but for a second straight year, first team all-conference as a goalkeeper. She is top 2 in the league in Big 12 play in both save percentage as well as goals allowed. I have a feeling she's less concerned with the individual accolade as she is with yet another trophy as TCU tries to capture their 4th Big 12 title combined between regular season and tournament title over the last 3 years. Pena up ahead, able to find Hennessy. Right on the edge of that box, runs into a wall of Sooners. Riley, as they track back a bit here with Peyton Cruz. Hubbard Sooners still on their heels, trying to keep this a scoreless affair early in the opening half. Traffic in the box. TCU 5-1 winners over Kansas in that quarterfinal. The biggest goal total for anybody on that opening day. And here's Hasler again, getting the start there at left back. Second year all-conference this year, the junior. Former Hebron Hawk in high school in the Dallas area, in Louisville. Played on the same club team as her goalkeeper, Lauren Kellett. Hubbard. Messiah Bright, so close to heading home the opener here in this one. Moments after that first corner kick was taken by TCU. Beautiful ball played in. The freshman off her line. It's TCU able to bury the opener. Unlike the #1 seed earlier today, the 2-seed Horned Frogs strike first. Gracie Bryan, for the second time in her career, among the best in the Big 12, first team all-conference.
The big difference here is TCU has come ready to play. They are fired up. As you saw, Gracie Bryan making that run in behind and just screaming for it to lay it at her feet so that she could take a touch and then take a shot on goal. Really good press forward there from the attacking center mid.
Boy, they missed her earlier this year when she missed 4 games with an ankle. At her 25th career goal. Last year, all Big 12 tournament team. Trying to take her defending tournament champion squad back to that final. And what a start for TCU. Well, Oklahoma finds themselves behind a goal. What do they need to be able to accomplish throughout the rest of this one?
Well, they should be really compact defensively, and credit to Gracie Bryan, that fantastic run in behind. But if they're going to press, they have to do it together and really tighten that space across the field to make these lanes forward harder to play through. But right now, TCU is picking them apart, so they've got to do this defending together. And then finally, if they counter, they've got to have players joining in the attack. They need numbers forward so that they can win any clearances or balls out. And that's basically a team effort for Oklahoma today. They've got to move together as a unit.
Yeah. Oklahoma moments ago conceded their first goal in the Big 12 tournament after shutting out Texas Tech 1-0. They toppled the 3 seed, now facing the #2 seed, but trailing for the first time this week. Oklahoma has played 19 matches. They've scored in all 19 matches. No other Big 12 team this year could claim as much. There's reason to believe they might be able to find an equalizer. The question is, can TCU put a crooked number on the board? That goal with 9 seconds remaining in regulation made it 19 straight matches this year. Courtesy again of the freshman Michelle Pack. Her 3rd career goal, her 2nd game winner. It was an assist for a freshman, a goal for a freshman that led to then a shutout for their freshman keeper. There will be no shutout tonight for Olivia Ramey. Hennessy. That was a tough fall forward for Hennessy, but she's able to bounce back up. And this ball is going to stay with TCU on the attack. So Gracie Bryan's 6th goal on the year. The senior has given the Horned Frogs the lead. TCU won the unique 2020 season, where the automatic bid of the NCAA tournament came through the regular season title since there was not a tournament. And they repeated as regular season champions last year and went on to sweep the titles as the #1 seed, claiming the tournament title here in Round Rock and a comeback against Texas. Well, there will be no rematch with Texas It was a different rematch earlier today. West Virginia was on the outside looking in last year. Able to make up for that loss and make up for a loss earlier this year. See if TCU can get some revenge from a regular season loss. Already in the driver's seat of this one. Hasler back to Cruz. Peyton Cruz, one of your fifth-year seniors on this squad, 3 times academic All-Big 12. Playing in front of Lauren Kellett. 8 shutouts on the year for Kellett. During the regular season, nobody gave up fewer goals to Big 12 competition than TCU and Lauren Kellett. Just 4 goals allowed. 2 of those were the loss to Oklahoma. Only 1-1 draws with Texas and West Virginia denied TCU shutouts in conference play. Lancaster. A couple of Sooners collide as TCU remains on this one. For the longest time, the Big 12 tournament required you to win 3 matches in the span of about 5 days. It was a Wednesday, Friday, Sunday format. Eventually, the Big 12 realized, look, we're sending our champion into the NCAA tournament, not exactly full strength. They changed it to a 2-weekend tournament, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, as we continue this year. But those early years, TCU, for some reason, was always built for success. Managed to be the underdogs on some great runs. Might be a while before Eric Bell's women are underdogs again. Looking for insurance. That one off the right foot of Hennessy, but parried over the crossbar by Ramey. A corner kick coming up for TCU. Ramey had some big moments against Tech back on Sunday. Splitting the starts this year with Mackenzie Short. Can she keep her back line organized and keep this just a 1-goal deficit? And Sheridan Michelle stays close. Hennessy back on this one. Lancaster's service back post, squeezed in by the keeper, Ramey. And she steps in front of the nearest Horned Frog, Messiah Bright. Messiah Bright still 1 goal shy of her 50th career in the purple and white. Sitting on 9 goals this year.
It's kind of interesting that TCU is the one that's doing the high press right now. They're confronting the back line very far up the field, whereas Oklahoma is really letting TCU cross the halfway mark, not really putting much pressure on them at all until it gets into the midfield. A good look at it is we're watching Bree Amos kind of across the top there. She's just letting those back line have the ball, move it across there. And it's not until it's played back into Oklahoma's defensive third that they're even really challenging.
Trying to connect with Megan Riley, who now gets a touch with that right foot. Send this one to Lancaster, unable to turn. Opportunity for Oklahoma. TCU does have numbers back. The ball with Amos. Looking for a fortunate hop. Kellett might be tested for the first time. As Oli Pena gets back, not only does not concede a shot on goal, doesn't give up a corner kick either as TCU survives.
That was a really good counter that started with Hartman there, who was just on the ball with Messiah Bright. She had won the ball and then maintained possession, and immediately they found Amos, who then broke out wide to Washington, who had some space. So that's the key for Oklahoma, is to make sure and keep the ball when they win it. Don't just turn it right back over to TCU, who's going to want to keep possession.
West Virginia awaits the winner of this one in Sunday's Big 12 final. We'll have it on ESPNU. Somehow Nikki Izzo-Brown's women have not lifted a Big 12 trophy since 2018 in that tournament. Already with 4 tournament titles and a little over a decade of membership in the Big 12 Conference, in addition to 5 regular season titles. As Hennessy running hip to hip, along with the Sooner, Elizabeth Rapp. Rapp, a freshman out of Evergreen, Colorado. Just a couple of starts throughout the season this year. We got to see these Sooners really at the start of Big 12 play. They won in Waco. They would then beat Iowa State. They started 2-0 atop the table, and that right there alone gives you a good chance to qualify for the tournament and have a chance to make a run once you're here. Right now they find themselves trailing after never conceding a goal back on Sunday. Wrapping up the 15th minute, Peyton Cruz has this one teed up. Again, looking back post into the mixer. As this will stay with TCU on the attack.
This is a young Oklahoma team. They're starting 5 freshmen, 7 underclassmen. They had the #1 recruiting class this past year and #1 recruiting class in the Big 12 for this coming year as well. So their program really on the rise at this point. We're going to see a lot of talented young players for this team, like Hartman right there on the ball coming forward, that really don't look like freshmen at all.
Yeah, these two might be having some good postseason battles for the foreseeable future. Of course, TCU with 4 Big 12 freshman standouts this year, including the freshman of the year, who unfortunately, again, lost 6 minutes into that quarterfinal, Grace Coppinger. Talk about more about Grace and the Big 12 award winners at halftime. There is Haley Hartman on that all-freshman team this year out of Grand Prairie from the Dallas area. Oklahoma with an opportunity here on the corner. Never chance as that one into the top netting.
Turn your head over your shoulder. Eyes turn with your hips.
Referee, by the way, Rashawn Clark. His assistant referees, Bev Demeron and Gerson Lopez. Fourth official, Esteban Rosano.
Hey,
as Lauren
everyone
Kellett,
make it sharper. Everyone make
another
it sharper.
Dallas area product from Coppell, staying close to home to play for Eric Bell and TCU. Can Oklahoma make it 20 for 20? 20 matches, all with goals scored. They've done so in their first 19. No other Big 12 team can claim as much, but right now, that would all be for naught. Their first match not to score would ultimately mean their season likely over. You see the tally early on, including one that broke through for TCU. Well, Emma Hawkins has been active, but has yet to receive the ball in a position where they would like to have her.
She's been a big surprise for them up top with her 6 goals, but right now she's playing kind of a winger position instead of that number 9, and she's been stuck defending an awful lot. I mean, she's been in her own half a lot of this first half so far, nowhere near where they typically would want her to be in terms of goal scoring.
Instead, it's Wesco who's more of that target. You saw she gets the start, gets that brief touch there. She had the only goal for Oklahoma last year in the quarterfinal loss to Texas. They would welcome an equalizer from the sophomore from Midlothian, Texas. It would be her 3rd on the year. Right now, Gracie Bryant has the difference maker, the reason why Lauren Kellett has a lead to defend here in this first half. There's Hawkins intervening on Megan Riley's attempt to send a ball forward. Perfect conditions on this Thursday evening in November for the athletes, the coaches, the spectators. Hennessy able to keep it alive for Riley. Working against Hawkins. And it'll just be a throw here for TCU.
Guys, keep concentrating.
And TCU denied a regular season title in part because of having one loss. It came against Oklahoma back on October 20th.
Time. Too much time, you guys. Too much time.
Funny how all this plays out. West Virginia similarly only had one loss this year. It was to Texas. And I think if you told West Virginia you're going to lose the regular season meeting but win in the semifinals against the team that ousted you in the semis last year, they would take that trade. Hasler.
So here's Pena and how far she comes back to maintain possession for the team. I think she's kind of that linchpin in the middle for TCU.
Extra ball looking for Pena at the top of the 18. Into the area, shot off the crossbar, and TCU can't hop on the rebound. Horned Frogs flirting with insurance as we give you another look at just how close it was.
And this is what's really challenging about TCU is how far their outside backs come forward. Shea Hubbard has been pressing forward dramatically so far this first half. She had come across the face of the 18 just a minute ago. And then on the flip side of that, Riley pushes forward so much as well. So those outside backs really overload and cause problems in terms of numbers for teams. And right now, Oklahoma's struggling a little bit of how to defend so many white jerseys up top.
Shaylin Hubbard, just one goal this year. It was a game winner against K-State. But Hubbard, boy, a little different spin on that ball, and maybe that bounce goes home after hitting the woodwork. Now we do have video review. They are going to see that camera right down the line, whether this ball crosses the goal line in its entirety. That's Rashawn Clark, our match referee, and he can clearly see not even close. We have video review in the Big 12 tournament. Only a handful of things can be looked at, but whether a ball entirely crosses the goal line is among them. We have a couple of disciplinary matters that can be assessed as well, and then addressing any clock discrepancies if needed. But again, the most exciting one, of course, is always whether or not a goal is scored. They thought it was needed for Rashawn Clark to take a look at that. It is up to our match referee. But they got it right initially. Foul here on Elizabeth Rapp for Oklahoma. So Oklahoma with wins over the two teams that did not qualify for the Big 12 tournament, and a third win against these Horned Frogs. You imagine TCU was ready once they saw Oklahoma had punched its ticket in that nightcap. They were 9 seconds away, were the Sooners and the Red Raiders, to go into overtime. Would have been the first, of course, that any team in the Big 12 had gone past the 90-minute mark this year with the change in the NCAA rules. Reminder, if we were to go to overtime, it is no longer a golden goal. Once you endeavor into the extra 20 minutes, you play the full 20, 2 10-minute halves. But right now, it's going to require at least one goal from Oklahoma. Something they could not find in those first 89 minutes against Tech. Bright trying to land on this one. They'll keep Messiah Bright for now out of the score sheet. Fifth-year grad student, no doubt NWSL bound if that's the path she wants. And this will simply be a foul on Oklahoma, so a free kick outside of the box for TCU. Gracie Bryan with the difference maker so far. Both of our goals today in our 2 matches from seniors. Peyton Cruz, again the grad student from Florida, hovers over this one. Chips one to the penalty spot. Bryant gets a head on it. That's squeezed in by Ramey. And it's still just a 1-goal deficit for Ramey and the Sooners to overcome. First changes of the day belong to the Sooners. See Morrell on for Wesco, who got the start today. You also see Ellie Jeffrey come on. She was critical in that last matchup against TCU, the freshman. Brossom. Pena motoring along up the spine. Nobody's going to wind up on the end of that ball into space. Eric Bell's about to have his own answers off the bench. A couple of good ones. All freshman squad this year. Kennedy Klontz, Michelle Slater, the senior, who had that lone goal against Oklahoma in their first meeting. They'll have to wait till the next stoppage and play. Now Hawkins looking to poach a ball, just keeping it out of her reach. But with Wesco out of the match, she has shifted a little more centrally. Pena running circles around Sooners, sends this one into space. And Oklahoma the first to it. As Messiah Bright trying to win a corner, it'll simply be a goal kick for Oklahoma. And that will allow for Klontz and Slater to enter this one. Klontz in for Hennessy. Slater on for Cruz.
Take a look at this solution to pressure here from Pena as she gets the ball. She, remember, is trying to dictate possession, but now she's got pressure. 2 people come to put pressure on her, but she figures out a way to cut it nice and tight to her body and then go forward. That's what you've got to do against teams that are going to high press you. You've got to figure out a way to keep possession, even if you can't play it backwards. She did just that.
Slater with an early touch off the bench. Here's your goal scorer, Gracie Bryan. And a rare touch for Kellett. Again, Olivia Hasler recognized this week, second team all Big 12, the junior. Hasler's versatility has been huge for TCU. A former outside back, moved to the midfield this year, has been so steady as a center back now for Eric Bell's back line. One that we mentioned only gave up 4 goals against Big 12 opponents in front of Lauren Kellett. 2 of those, though, to Oklahoma as they surrendered a lead to the Sooners that night. So far, the Sooners able to deny TCU insurance. But Oklahoma's had very few opportunities to level this one. TCU in the box, trying to get a turn, looking for that next shot, and they're not going to reward Gracie Bryan there. Begging for the ball for Oklahoma, making the long run was Hadley Murrell. I don't think anybody was able to get their eyes up to spot her in space, pushing forward.
So let's take a look at this pressure here from Oklahoma. It kind of seems like they're caught in between a high press and then a low block. And the problem is this ball into the middle, and now Hartman's late to press. They need to get there as the ball's arriving. And right now, Oklahoma's just really a step too late, and it's allowing TCU to play around them.
Hubbard in for a closer look. As Shaylin Hubbard will have it plucked away. Trying to give a ball for Hawkins to have a chance at. TCU stays disciplined as they win this ball back for their keeper, Kellett. Again, Hawkins, the transfer from Central Arkansas, where she dominated the A-Sun Conference last year. Of course, Central Arkansas, longtime members of the Southland Conference, but last year, members of the A-Sun, where she led the conference in goals and assists. 15 goals alone last year, but left Central Arkansas with 34 career goals, 14 assists before becoming a Sooner this season for her final go-round, leading the club with 6 goals this year. An offside flag is up. Mark Carr, our unofficial assistant referee, helping out with that call as Klontz had just mistimed her run. And Gerson Lopez, one of our 2 ARs, along with Bev Demeron.
It's a good look at Sheridan Michelle, who Coach Carr has moved to outside right to deal with some of the speediness here on the side, like Klontz. And Jeffrey coming into her center back position alongside Hartman.
And Messiah Bright offside. Well, the next opportunity, Mark Carr is going to bring on his freshman hero. And here comes Michelle Pack. 9 seconds away from playing overtime against Texas Tech. Pack received a ball from a freshman teammate, and just a nifty little touch directed it across the goal line. And has her Sooners playing today in the semifinal. By the way, if she scores a goal today, it's going to be against a talented keeper from her own high school. Both of them from Coppell High. Kellett now the junior for TCU. Pack the freshman for Oklahoma. We saw another Coppell Cowgirl and Mackenzie McFarland for Texas have her run cut short earlier today. "13 minutes from halftime, it's TCU who found the go-ahead goal after a furious start from the 2 seed. If they weren't already set to go from the start of this one, Texas's loss to West Virginia no doubt had their attention. The Mountaineers await the winner of this one. West Virginia this year handed Oklahoma a 3-2 loss just a couple weeks ago. Played TCU to a draw. As Mark Carr will continue to go to his bench when given the opportunity in a moment. I have to imagine he'll be fairly pleased if this remains just a 1-0 scoreline going into the halftime speech.
Yeah, probably not so pleased with how they started. A little bit maybe nervous, a little bit disjointed, and I think TCU coming out just so fast and so hard really capitalized on that and put a ball away early against this tough defensive Oklahoma team.
And TCU found 5 goals against Kansas. A 5-1 final. Jalen Hubbard's being able to create a couple of chaotic moments for TCU already today. But a set piece here for Oklahoma. Let's see what they have in mind. There's no obvious target for them out there on the pitch. They do have Haley Hartman push forward the defender. They'll keep this one low, and TCU rejects that offering. And again, well out of her box here, Ramey trying to get them back on track. First touch for Pack. There'll be a throw here for Oklahoma, but first a couple of personnel changes. 3 teams are still in the hunt for this 2022 Big 12 tournament title. That'll be contested on Saturday, 1 o'clock Central, 2 Eastern. We'll have it over on ESPNU. West Virginia blanks Texas, handing the Longhorns just their 2nd loss all year. Also, coincidentally, their 2nd shutout loss. Only 2 times that the Longhorns have been kept off the score sheet. And it was Segala for West Virginia near the end of the first half. After Texas was hoping for a penalty shot in the box, West Virginia opted to continue to play on, rightfully so. Took that ball all the way down the opposite end and able to bury the difference maker. Able to keep the Longhorns at bay the rest of the way. Texas team with more than 50 goals this year did not have an answer for West Virginia. We are accustomed to West Virginia winning those tournament titles as a top seed in this league. But frankly, again, when the 4 seed only has 1 loss, same was the case with the 2 and the 3 seeds, I don't know if you'd label it an upset. I think the Sooners are the only team that really could have that kind of claim if they were to win it all this week. And a foul will give this to TCU.
We saw some better pressure there, though, from Hadley Morrell on this side. She arrived as the ball arrived to the defender across the back. That's the key. They just can't get there late. It's giving them too much time to play it. So they've got to get there quickly if they're going to high press like this. And they're just not, the timing's just not quite right yet for Oklahoma.
This will be a throw for the Horned Frogs. Heinrich and Memley come on for TCU. Skylar Heinrich, the senior from Omaha, Nebraska, who missed almost the entirety of this season with injury, finally returned to take on Oklahoma State in the midst of this past month after being again knocked out of the season in that season opener. As for Memley, she comes on for the active Ollie Pena. Emily, a sophomore out of Laguna Hills, California. Great impact last year off the bench as a freshman with 4 goals. Former high school track star has added another goal this year. Oklahoma just looking for a mistake from TCU to pounce on. Meanwhile, Clance was hoping that that ball might go her way. And Clance will win the call. It's going to be a free kick a little more than 10 yards outside of the area. All freshman team. Her first career goal against a pretty good program in Santa Clara, but TCU turned some heads when they blanked Santa Clara this year 7-0. And she's fouled by Michelle.
That was a position that TCU, I think, was really questioning how to fill. Grace Collins left, graduated this past year, had so many goals and was just such a strength in terms of shot production and goals. And they've been trying some different personnel in that position. Clowns has done well, Seven Castaigne.
Riley to that back post, squeezed in by Ramey.
So it's kind of been just this revolving door of riches, really, for Coach Bell in terms of new personalities he's been trying out in the wake of Collins graduating.
And again, that cupboard does not look like it's going to be bare for TCU anytime soon. We mentioned both these teams with a youth movement waiting. Now for Oklahoma, they're having to lean on it now. TCU with numbers forward into the box. Oklahoma able to do just enough to keep Ramey from having to intervene. Brossom will get to this one first. That's a tough spot to put Kellett in, but she's up to the task. Can TCU find insurance before halftime? And Eric Bell, Ryan Higginbotham have led TCU to 4 of the last 5 Big 12 tournament finals. The exception was 2019, that last year in Kansas City. Right now he talks to our 4th official. At halftime he'll talk to us. Probably slightly different topics. 5.5 to go till halftime. And they're saying that's inside the area, and that would be a penalty for TCU. And this is what won't be reviewable, whether that was on the... I don't know that this is reviewable. Now Rashawn's going to come over, Rashawn Clark, our referee, but I don't believe this is one of the reviewable items. Now clearly they're going to look to whether or not the foul actually did occur inside the box. And no, I'm mistaken. You see that last bullet. And it's just going to be a matter of whether or not they have an angle. The initial call is that it's inside the area. They'd have to see conclusive video evidence that it was not, that it was a clear error.
Surprised they haven't used this yet then, because we've had PKs already in the quarterfinals. Saw West Virginia, Jordan Brewster put one away. Lexi Misimo put one away.
Yeah, I don't think it's whether there is a foul, but whether or not it occurred actually in the box. I don't know that we've had any other of those penalties awarded so close to the top of the 18. At the moment, TCU is getting ready to line up for a penalty. This is the first year video review's been available. And they will stay with the call. A penalty coming up for TCU to make it 2-0.
Very dramatic. I like that. They're sure.
It's going to be Seven Castaigne looking for her 2nd career goal. The freshman from Draper, Utah, staring down the 2nd-year freshman, Olivia Ramey. These are the only penalties TCU wants to shoot tonight. Castaigne on the spot. Makes it 2-0 TCU. Castaigne arrived on the TCU campus this past spring. That helped speed up her learning curve literally as just a student athlete, able to focus on the books first and plug right in as the athlete portion here this fall.
It was a look at the captain, Kayla England, trying to get the ball out of the box. Extends her arm a bit, gives Castaigne the opportunity to take one from the spot here. Nice pace on that shot, and low enough and hard enough on the ground that it was just too tough for Ramey to get down and over.
So Gracie Bryan, who had the first goal today, won that penalty. She clearly was in the box. As Castaigne, though, handles the penalty. What a moment for the freshman. What does that tell you with all the talented players you have for TCU, that it's Castaigne who goes to that spot without being questioned?
Well, this is something that the teams are working on a lot more these days, taking penalty kicks. Remember, they got rid of a lot of the penalty kick options during the year. So toward the end of the year, they essentially start taking a lot more. There's tournament play only at the end of the year really now. So it's a matter of the coaches really figuring out who are their go-tos for penalty kicks, and they've got a list of their preferred kickers.
It's our first goal today in the semifinals from someone who's not facing graduation. As Kellett now has insurance to work with, and TCU, unlike their first meeting with Oklahoma, have found a second goal. As you saw the rocket a moment ago from Thomas. We'll note Leo Weber still unavailable to be with the team. Some health obstacles have kept her out of these matches in Round Rock. Certainly wish her all the best. The sophomore from Munich, Germany. Big part of this year's run. Oklahoma applying a little bit of pressure here on TCU. Horned Frog coaches want to make sure that Oklahoma doesn't find a way to take that 0 off the board before the break.
I think that PK is pretty unfortunate, because I think you're right. I think Oklahoma would be feeling much better about things going into halftime, down just 1-0, with the opportunity to kind of turn things around and solve some issues, especially collectively defensively. But now going down 2-0, that's tough. It's still going to be a message from Coach Carr at halftime that they can come back from this if they play like they did in that quarterfinal.
Oklahoma this year found multiple goals, 2 against West Virginia, TCU, Baylor, and Iowa State. Only against Iowa State did they find a third goal, which might be necessary today if you're going to win this one outright. Here's Pack with confidence. Well played ball up ahead, but even better positioning from Hasler. Yeah, that penalty unfortunate. It was not a dangerous spot. Ball was actually retreating from your goal. Just lack of awareness committing that foul. Sooners hoping to pull one back here in the final 2 minutes of this opening 45. Castaigne, moments ago with her second career goal, the penalty converted. Clance to Heinrich, up ahead to Castaigne. She stays on side, but doesn't have the first touch she was hoping for. West Virginia awaiting the winner of this one, as the Mountaineers earn the right to play for the title on Sunday. Back here in Round Rock. West Virginia looking for their 10th combined Big 12 title. 5 regular season, 4 tournament titles so far in 11 years. Only twice have they not made it to the semifinals, including their very first year in the Big 12. Why? Well, 8 seed TCU upset them that year in the quarterfinals. Victoria Arnold standing on her head back then for the Horned Frogs, as both those teams had joined the Big 12 that year in San Antonio. We don't envision TCU being an 8 seed for several years or decades to come. Here's Clance, currently up 2-0 in the box. They'll play on. Got to be careful with your hands already after conceding 1 penalty.
TCU just so quick on the ball, and it's just really tough when you're flat-footed as a defender, even if you're shuffling backward, to keep up with them. They're just so technical. They're keeping the ball nice and tight to their bodies when they dribble. They're just so explosive right now. It really is pretty drastic, the difference in pace of TCU.
Final seconds counting down in the opening half.
I need food.
Gracie Bryan has TCU out ahead. Insurance on the PK converted by Seven Castaigne as TCU the 2 seed. Right now in the driver's seat, halfway to that Big 12 to be here. They figure, well, if we're here, we've worked this hard. Let's put in a shift here in the second 45 and see if we can't make our way to that final.
I mean, they want to harken back to how they felt in that quarterfinal with how they played. Not even necessarily the victory at the end of the game, but they put together a full quality 90 minutes against Texas Tech. So I think that's what's so disappointing is they know the level that they can play at, and they just feel like they didn't play at that level in the first half. And it's just way more fun and enjoyable when you're playing that way.
Hubbard out on the wing. Horned Frogs trying to land an early blow to try to put this one out of reach. That'll be a corner kick for TCU here in the opening 30 seconds to start the second half. As Hennessy will do the honors with a right-footed outswinger. Some instructions from her head coach Eric Bell before she takes this one. Messiah Bright's been a leading candidate to head one home. As they'll go back post, a tad tall. See if they can salvage this opportunity. As Peyton Cruz tried to track that one down, but it's back over to Oklahoma. So TCU has outscored opponents in that first half 14-6 now. And the second half has not fared much better for their opponents. Top of the 18, and the stroke a tad tall. As Ramey will have a goal kick coming up.
That was Gracie Bryan at the top of the 18, and now she's pressing up top. She's just been all over the place today. She's a player that is so mobile and active, you almost kind of lose track of her. She pushes up high. She just all kind of drifts into spaces. And she's really been the X factor, I think, offensively for TCU.
Bright. Lancaster and TCU still on the attack. That's a short hop right into the arms of Ramey. Ramey, who guessed correctly on that penalty taken late in the first half, but still could not keep it out of the net. Good instincts, just misfortune as Oklahoma saw the deficit double. In Shaylin Hubbard. TCU scored the first 5 goals against Kansas before conceding one in the 89th minute. Only goal they've given up so far this week. Bright, former Offensive Player of the Year in the Big 12 a couple years ago when she was unstoppable. Currently sitting 1 goal shy of 50 for her career. Number 49 came back during the quarterfinals against Kansas. And we saw the brace from Melcher in relief. Klontz, Bright, and even Dana Reed getting in on the action.
It's a bit of a different start to this second half for TCU. Not as aggressive as a start as the first half, but that aggressiveness from the get-go in the first half gave them some room here to be patient, a bit more patient on the ball, keep the ball.
Here's Bright. We'll wait for some numbers to join her. Bryan won that penalty, did not opt to take it, however, as this ball chipped forward, looking for Lancaster, instead winds up in the arms of Olivia Ramey. Pack gets the start here in the second half. Oh, giveaway to Bright. Pack will come in to help. You now have 3 Sooners. Finally, that's enough to wrestle it away from Bright. And Messiah called for the foul. And Ramey is going to come up and address this ball. Not even 5 minutes into the second half. TCU trying to complete the bracket with West Virginia in Sunday's final. It would be the 6th appearance for TCU in a Big 12 final in their 11 years. It would be their 6th different seeding to carry into that final. This year, the 2 seed. A lot of surprise runs when they, like Oklahoma, felt like they did not have a chance to get into the NCAA tournament without winning it all. But often getting that final would prove to be enough for Eric Bell's squad.
Now, I did ask Coach Carr if his lone senior out there, Emma Hawkins, would be returning next year, and he said yes. So that's very encouraging for this young team that their goal leader is going to be coming back next year. The transfer from Central Arkansas that's been big time. On the ball right now.
Right on cue. It winds up back with Hubbard. Yeah, it's going to be a couple more years before the word senior means anything. We've had some 6-year seniors, including for TCU, Dana Reed. For Texas, Savannah Madden. Pack. Now Lancaster looking to go the other way. Has Bright up ahead of her, but with a trio of Sooners. And a push in the back is going to bring a yellow out. A promising attack halted by that foul as A.J. Hennessy hit the deck. Card on Elizabeth Rapp. And the freshman out of Colorado.
You can see Rapp's really frustrated. This is a very different game than the Texas Tech game. I mean, they were all over Texas Tech. It was a very physical game, but the TCU players are going down pretty easily, and it's in their favor.
On that back post, they'll head it back into the mixer as they found the noggin of A.J. Hennessy. Hennessy may have been better off trying to direct that one on frame. Pena keeps it alive for Bright. The Sooners able to hold off the attack for now. The Horned Frogs able to regroup at midfield. Bryan right now sitting on the game winner perhaps. Nifty juggle from Hennessy, getting around a couple of defenders, and Hennessy will be guilty of the foul here. Some skills on display from the freshman from Norco, California.
She's had a good game so far. Lots of speed, but here she just flicks it past the defender, and then Emma Hawkins has to track all the way back to help out on defense. You know things are not going well when one of your highest forwards is that far back.
Messiah Bright has a target in her sights and does not miss. It's 50 career goals for Messiah Bright, and it's 3-0 TCU. Messiah Bright able to bury her 11th goal on the year.
Just a mistake in the back here, and Gracie Bryan again on the end of it, capitalizing, but being very smart, looking up, finding the feet of Messiah Bright, who had a better angle on that goal. And Messiah Bright, 50 goals is just incredible. And it's hard to imagine that she was on her club team's second team at one point. Just a phenomenal player for the Horned Frogs.
But to be fair, she was 4 years old, right?
I don't think that's
club at 4. I don't think that's true.
But I wouldn't put it past Dallas club teams to put their kids on club teams at 4.
It is TCU up 3 goals from 3 different goal scorers, including a couple of seniors. And TCU, now they did concede 3 goals twice this year, but that was to Duke and at USC. That's a tall task for Oklahoma now. Over a half hour still to play. Kellett. And Lauren Kellett concedes less than a goal per contest. She was the stingiest goalkeeper during Big 12 competition this year. Second best save percentage in Big 12 play this year. And right now has a 3-goal lead to work with. And this is not a TCU team that's just going to sit back for the rest of this match. Megan Riley has seen a couple of her senior classmates find goals today. Of course, Megan, a former Oklahoma Sooner, facing her former team tonight. When there was the coaching change a few years ago, we saw several former Sooners opt to stay in the Big 12, make contributions to new Big 12 members or squads. Packing the Sooners, trying to pull one back. Good movement so far. And it'll be a corner kick coming up for Oklahoma. As both Hawkins and Pack were hoping to find a stray ball around the goal mouth. See Alexis Washington, the all Big 12 freshman squad member this year. Left-footed in-swinger on the corner. And cleared out by TCU. That last shot coming from Messiah Bright. And the ball bounced her way. There's a horn frog down right now, the reason for the ire from the TCU coaching staff. And at some point, play will be halted now that Oklahoma has it, and that's now. And there's going to be a card coming out on the TCU staff, presumably. No, card is. So here's what our understanding now is, because that yellow is given to Hawkins, that Rashawn Clark was just playing an advantage. That may not have been an advantage that TCU wanted. That Hawkins picks up the card for this foul that, at the moment, has the horn frog down, and you understand why TCU is sensitive to getting players hurt after last Sunday.
And this has been the story of today, is just being late to press, late to tackles for Oklahoma. And it's causing a lot of fouls, unintentional fouls for Oklahoma.
That's Sarah Melcher, who was, again, the unexpected hero when she came in for an injured teammate, and now Rashawn Clark has his hands full with a couple of 2 coaches as a result of differing viewpoints of that foul. Hawkins did receive a yellow. Now we are going to step aside again. They are tending to Sarah Melcher, the freshman who had 2 goals back on Sunday, hoping to play for a championship this weekend.
Why is Roger happy? It's the little things Carvana does. See, Roger wants to sell his...
You might have heard of Carvana and that we sell cars online. What you probably didn't know is that we're in the business. You might have heard of Carvana and that we sell cars online. What you probably didn't know is that we're in the business.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online.
You might have heard of Carvana and that we sell cars online. What you probably didn't know is that we're in the business.
Why is Roger happy? It's the little things Carvana does. See, Roger wants to sell his... Why is Roger happy? It's the little things Carvana does. See, Roger wants to sell his...
Think you can take down a Heisman quarterback? Prove it at theheismanhouse.com.
The game has never been better.
Well, the good news was Sarah Melcher was able to leave under her own power. She'll be assessed by the training staff. We'll see Brandon Brossum come back on to fill that void on the back line. Remember, Melcher's already helping fill minutes from another injured teammate. Your freshman of the year unavailable tonight, Grace Coppinger, who went down 6 minutes into that quarterfinal against Kansas back on Sunday. Credit to our referee, Rashawn Clark, asked to talk to both head coaches at the same time while we were in commercial break, trying to make sure that tensions did not escalate. We saw things get close to boiling over in Oklahoma's last match against Tech, just because, look, here we are in a knockout format tournament, and especially if you're Oklahoma, you've got a season that could come to an end tonight if you don't find 3 goals at least. You start to fight for your players who you've been with all season long, and you start to see every call seemingly going against you when you yourself are rooting for your team to move on. Our referee, Rashawn Clark, just trying to make sure that as much as possible the coach is able to lead by example. Messiah Bright has made this 3-0. Becoming the 3rd different goal scorer tonight for TCU. It was 2-0 at halftime for the number 2 seed.
This is better play from Oklahoma, though. They're starting to combine with each other and play 1 and 2 touch. I mean, they really just seemed all out of sorts.
Well, if Messiah Bright had a better run on that ball, it was an empty frame where she could have tried to chip the keeper. Oklahoma able to buy time for Olivia Ramey. Bright still on this one. Messiah thinking about a brace, sends that one into the area, as Gracie Bryan was hoping to be the recipient of that ball. Each of them with goals tonight. And Mark Carr is going to be able to go to his bench for 2 more now. Michaela Thomas returns. Hawkins, after the yellow, will exit. And Morgan Eichelbarner, I believe, yes, is the one who comes on. The freshman from Plano West High School. Thomas on for Washington. Remember, TCU was represented on both sides of that NWSL championship this past weekend. Both the winners, Portland, as well as the runners-up in Kansas City. Kansas City Currents head coach Matt Potter was the predecessor for Mark Carr at Oklahoma. Hubbard.
I was half expecting them to name Yasmin Ryan as the MVP of that game. She was involved in both their goals. She just looked really good for TCU, the alum, in that game. Ultimately, they gave it to Sophia Smith, but she was fantastic on that right flank.
Former Horned Frog had the assist on the go-ahead goal and then created the chaos that led to the own goal. That also involved a couple of Big 12 foes. A nice run here for Oklahoma, trying to pull one back, down by 3. Kellett in the end will have that ball whimper into her hands.
It's a good look of Oli Pena tracking all the way back, helping out on defense. You wouldn't think at her 5'1" frame that she would be the holding midfielder. Typically holding midfielders are taller players, but she works so hard defensively, and again, she's really their link there in the middle and maintains possession, helps swing the ball.
TCU has not surrendered a multiple goal lead, certainly not a 3-goal advantage. Lancaster sends one in, looking for Bright. Already has her 2nd goal of the week here in Round Rock. Messiah Bright with multiple 30-point seasons. That's combined goals and assists. And a foul is going to send this back the other way with TCU. 6 straight NCAA tournament appearances for TCU. We would be surprised if that does not become 7 straight by the end of this year. Right now in the running for their 10th shutout on the season. As you see, TCU sitting pretty top 20 in RPI. Messiah Bright, and a nice job closing out late by Oklahoma. They'll concede a corner kick, but no shot on frame. And boy, that's a dangerous moment. Elizabeth Rapp playing on a yellow, but able to keep Bright from being able to pull the trigger there. And Messiah Bright's going to come off for 7 Castaigne. 1 goal scorer tonight for another. And it's not a corner kick, just a goal kick here for the Sooners. So again, fantastic job by Elizabeth Rapp.
We'll see how much Coach Bell decides to manage Messiah Bright here, given they're up 3-0. Will he put her back in the game, or will he decide, you know what, let's just keep her out if it stays 3-0 and there's no goal to cut this deficit?
Well, the young goalkeeper not on the same page as her back line. She thought she could get to that one cleanly. Alexis Washington did not want to risk it. And so TCU remains on the attack here. Here's the delivery towards the back post. It's going to sail well wide. And it'll be a throw coming up. As Oklahoma trying to get out of its own defensive third. Hubbard. Well, of course, the tournament is designed so that if you're the top seed and you win your semifinal, you can sit back and scout this one. But in this case, it's West Virginia who has the edge on whoever wins this contest, as they already know they are in that final. No doubt, Nikki Izzo-Brown and her coaching staff still here at the confines of the multi-purpose complex in Round Rock. Lancaster's service swatted down. That 4th goal. Last year was a rarity when we saw the top 2 seeds collide in the conference final in the Big 12. I don't know if we ever saw it in the 7 years in Kansas City. And a big part of that was that having to win 3 matches in 5 days, the format that dominated this tournament up until a few years ago. As Slater back on for Peyton Cruz. Oli Pena will also come off as Memoli returns to the match. A goal from Lauren Segala for West Virginia, your difference, as the Mountaineers avenge their regular season loss against Texas. Now here's TCU with a promising attack, but it's slammed shut is the door on that opportunity at the top of the 18. Lancaster in the box, along with Gracie Bryan, waiting for a ball to come their way. And a great tackle. It's back over to TCU, though. Castaigne's service looking for Lancaster. Just a little off the mark.
I like that going right back at Castaigne and Sheridan Michelle. After that exchange with the Castaigne dancing on the ball, it did look like Michelle was a little tired. She won the ball, but ultimately looked a bit fatigued. So I like that idea of let's go right back at her. That time, Castaigne able to turn the corner and get a cross off.
Just going to ask our producer to clip all these highlights of Seven Castaigne, so when she's a 6th-year senior 5 years from now, we can have a flashback. And already all freshman team this year in the Big 12.
And we haven't even seen one of their other freshman phenoms, Tyler Isrig. 6 goals on the year, hasn't come on, and they just have a lot of great talent here going forward, TCU, but it is going to be a huge loss if they lose Messiah Bright, who's essentially been their head goal scorer for 4 years for this squad. And that's going to be a tough task to make up that amount of goals.
Well, you can understand why Iskrig isn't seeing playing time. She only had 6 goals off the bench this year for TCU. All of that with tongue firmly in cheek.
What's wild is their goal production has been so much less this year. And that's how good they were last year. There's such high expectations. Obviously, they won the regular season and the Big 12 tournament. And having been to the Elite 8 during that COVID year in the spring, you really thought that maybe they'd break into the Final Four, but just got really unlucky, fell to Rutgers and PKs in the round of 16 last year. So I think some of these players feel like they have unfinished business in that regard in the NCAA tournament.
Horned Frogs right now trying to maintain a clean sheet. Kellett officially will record a save there, with 24 minutes to go here. TCU just needs to be able to stay disciplined, and they will have a date with West Virginia. Last year was TCU's first tournament title in the Big 12. They had come up just short on 3 other occasions in the past 5 years. We'll see Klontz and Heinrich come back on for TCU reinforcements, but first, an opportunity here for Oklahoma with Hartman, the freshman, making the run. Her classmate, Peck. Weaving through Horned Frogs. Back out to Hartman in the box. And a blocked shot from Lancaster. And Slater finally sends it back up to midfield towards Castaigne. Collected by the co-captain, Kaylee England. This is a homecoming of sorts for England. Grew up just south of Austin in Dripping Springs. Right around 50 career starts now with the Sooners.
She's one of those players that had to make a decision when Coach Carr came in and wanted to implement his style of play of being a leader and saying, we've all got to be on board with this. We all have to believe in what he wants to do with this Oklahoma program, and rightfully earned that captain's armband at a young age last year. She's someone also very versatile for this squad, been in the defense, center back. She's played out wide, and now she's that holding midfield position. We've also seen her as an attacking midfielder. So just a really great utility player for Coach Carr, and a leader that he can go to try to get this team back to where they want to be.
Again, just a junior. They'll have the luxury of bringing the captain back next year. See if this ball stays in play for Lancaster. It will not. Throw out of their own defensive third for Oklahoma, but first both coaches make 2 changes. Mentioned Klontz and Heinrich for TCU. Oklahoma's going to bring on Hadley Morrell in the youth movement for Oklahoma. As there is the aforementioned captain, Kaylee England, former Dripping Springs High School Tiger. limited touches tonight for Bailey Wesco. I know they were hoping to find her up top early. Pack will try one from distance off the crossbar, and her head coach approves of that decision to take the shot.
A good effort from the outside there. Pack having a really nice tournament. I really like her on the ball. She's just seems to have a really good head for keeping the ball. She's really good at solving pressure, keeping the ball close to the body, and has now had 2 great shots. One of them was a game winner. But here, take a look at Pack. She just touches it to herself. She didn't have a whole lot of space, leaned back just a little bit, and ripped that one on frame.
Two 2-0 lead at halftime for TCU. They've tacked one on here in the second half. Bryan, Castaigne, and Bright, your goal scorers.
So this is more what Oklahoma wanted to do, is press higher up the field and get turnovers on this side of the halfway line.
This one's going to fall to Heinrich. A little 50-50 ball, and for now, the freshman, Hartman, able to keep TCU at bay as they have to settle for a throw. Oklahoma just hoping that a bounce can go their way to try to get them back on track for these final 19 minutes. Don't want to overlook, this is the final Big 12 match this year on Big 12 Now, and what a luxury Big 12 Now has been these past few seasons for us to be able to monitor the entire conference, almost every single match, especially in conference play. Easy access on the ESPN app. Enjoyed listening to all the voices around the Big 12 on primarily Thursdays and Sundays. Memoli sends this ahead. Ramey back in her goal, waiting for that next shot to come. From 19 yards away, a screamer well over the crossbar.
Clowns just lost her balance a little bit there, was starting to fall backwards, took the pace off the ball, and then also got underneath it on that.
Alexis Washington coming on for the much talked about Kayla England. Washington, a freshman from San Antonio, but went to the IMG Academy over there in Bradenton, Florida. Oh, that almost was the opportunity Oklahoma's been waiting for. Just a friendly hop pass to center back. Still a promising chance here. Kellett on her line, trying to preserve the clean sheet. As the Frogs finally get numbers back to help. Ball chested down by Wesco, but can't do anything with it. And again, the clock is on the side of TCU, as they'll slowly matriculate up the pitch. .5 minutes remaining in this one. And the Sooners are more than welcome to mount a comeback, but let me ask you, unlike coaches and players, we have the luxury of looking ahead. If it is TCU and West Virginia, what kind of problems do the Mountaineers pose for the Horned Frogs and vice versa?
Well, I think if they play the way they did today, the Mountaineers, I think it's going to be a really good match.
Looking for Wesco again in the box.
But essentially, they played the way today that Oklahoma played in the quarterfinal against Texas Tech. Just really organized defensively, going at the other team, being aggressive. And Oklahoma responded with just kind of some flatness today and just not the same bite. And I don't know if it's the emotion of winning that game in the final 9 seconds, but West Virginia's got to figure out a way to be consistent. And I think that's the story for a lot of these teams, is finding consistency when it comes to tournament time. You've got to be good game to game, because pretty much everyone can beat you at this point if you're not. So that's going to be West Virginia's story, is if they can bring it the way they did earlier today against Texas, they're going to have a real shot against a talented TCU team.
And up ahead to Wesco. Again, the two programs met with entirely different rosters, but same coaches in the final back in 2016, when West Virginia was your #1 seed and went on to the College Cup, only to fall in that national championship match. But TCU actually scored the first 2 goals that year against West Virginia in that final, only for West Virginia to battle back, find an equalizer at the death from Kadisha Buchanan and a golden goal from Ashley Lawrence. Of course, those two would go on to win gold in Tokyo in 2021 in the Olympics for Canada. But again, do not count out Oklahoma just yet. Their season has at least 14.5 minutes still to go. They had one of the more dramatic moments in this tournament so far in our nightcap back on Sunday at the expense of Texas Tech, and likely that senior class for the Red Raiders. What a heartbreaking moment again. You're starting to think you have 20 more minutes of overtime, and a young freshman comes along and buries that heartbreaker. Sooners looking for that first strike of the night and cannot put that one home, as Wesco wishes she could have that one to do over.
My goodness, this looked like it was right on the line here. Tees up Wesco, and with the inside of her foot, opens up her hips there, and that allows that bit of daylight for the defender to stick her foot out and block that shot. So if she had buried that in the near post, there just wouldn't have been that opportunity to stick a foot out and get a deflection. But opening up the hips and trying to go for the far post, that opened up that little bit of window.
It was Hasler who got a foot on it for TCU. That leads to this corner. And here is Iskrig finally coming on for the Horned Frogs as they defend this set piece from the 6th-seeded Sooners. They'll finally send it towards that back post. And the Horned Frogs have the answer defensively. In 9 shutouts this year for TCU. 8 complete shutouts for Kellett, who was briefly relieved this season on occasion by Azul Alvarez, who, just like Kellett's predecessor, Emily Alvarado, is part of the Mexican youth national team system. Of course, Alvarado is now your full-blown starting keeper for the Mexican national team, as we see on national TV throughout the years when they suit up against the red, white, and blue. "12 minutes to go in this one. TCU only loss in Big 12 play this year to Oklahoma, likely cost them at least a share of the Big 12 title. As they have to go through Oklahoma to try to find at least one trophy this year. One they will play for on Sunday, barring a comeback from Oklahoma, with West Virginia standing in their way. Simple advice from the TCU coaching staff: heads up. As the Horned Frogs were ready for that last ball. And that's a foul at midfield. So that stays with TCU.
It seems like that. I think West Virginia is a better matchup against TCU athletically as well. TCU just seems faster, quicker, more technical, and I think West Virginia showed today the kind of speed that they have and athleticism as well. So I think the matchup's a little bit more in West Virginia's favor as opposed to Oklahoma here. It just seems like they can't stick with Castaigne or Bright, Lancaster. It's been a real hard time staying with those players.
We showed you TCU right now sitting at RPI 20. West Virginia has the 3rd highest RPI in the conference, but it just increased to 48 after toppling Oklahoma State. Now they're going to likely get a big shot in the arm with the win over Texas. But I don't think they're going to feel comfortable right now on the bubble. They're going to try to take care of business in 90 minutes and grab that automatic bid out of the Big 12 on Sunday. But their resume certainly did improve, though, even more so today.
Yeah, I always bring up the year in 2008 when Missouri won the Big 12 regular season and then didn't get an at-large bid into the tournament. So I believe that year it was maybe 1 or 2 teams just out of the Big 12 that got into the NCAA tournament. So just making the final, unfortunately, is not going to ensure a berth, is not going to cut it. West Virginia really needs to try and win the whole thing to keep their season going.
Big 12 has one of the 31 automatic bids into that field of 64, 33 at-larges. We figure Big 12 has at least one automatic at-large. No such thing, but Texas. The selection show will be the day after the final. We will have the final right here, 1 o'clock Central, 2 Eastern on ESPNU. And then next day on Monday will be the selection show, where we find out the fate, which 64 teams do in fact make it into the dance. Corner for Oklahoma. Kellett punches that one away. Next shot comes, and Kellett will not need to lift a finger. Oklahoma last made it to the final in 2014 in Kansas City. There was so much parity on how many different teams had made it to the final, even in that 7-year stretch in Kansas City alone. I think every team except Texas and Iowa State and Kansas State, who was barely a program at the time.
Yeah, that's what makes it all the more impressive that West Virginia has been so dominant in the league for so long.
Heinrich leading this attack. Oklahoma's seen enough. Down by 3 with 8 minutes to go, perhaps in the season. It's a different scenario than Sunday night when it was still scoreless and they could at least fall back on overtime. Only to find that goal, the game winner, with 9 seconds to go in regulation. West Virginia earlier today, a shutout of Texas. Second time this year Texas has been held scoreless, and those are the only 2 losses on the year for Texas. West Virginia's in good company. The other loss handed to Texas was then by #1 North Carolina in the second match of the season for the Longhorns, her alma mater. West Virginia looked talented top half of this with 4 teams with 1 moment.
Yeah, just 1 loss in conference play. And that, talk about parity, that is tough to do, is lose just 1 game in this conference. And the key for them is they just struggled to score and had 4 ties in conference play, 7 ties on the year. Really struggled to find the back of the net. And if they can start finding that, figuring out multiple ways to score, we saw how good they are on set pieces. And Segala doing it on set pieces and also in the run of play today. If they can find some ways to score goals, then they're going to be a challenge to beat because they're just so strong defensively.
I don't think West Virginia overall, their coaching staff, is as pleased with the NCAA change to get rid of overtime during the regular season as maybe some other coaches might be. I believe their belief is they could have created some separation given overtime and not had to settle for as many draws as they did in Big 12 play. History certainly backs that up. It's even tougher when you're constantly playing the game of RPI if you can't create any kind of separation and you're settling for draws more often.
And Coach Izzo Brown doesn't really sub a whole lot either, so she's used to putting those starters out there, really going to her bench minimally, and they usually get it done in overtime. And yeah, you're right, just don't have that opportunity anymore to put it away, but still, it's no excuse. You've got to find a way to score. You've got to find a way to win and put it in the back of the net. But if they can do it when it counts, which is going to be on Sunday, then they're going to keep their season going and be in the NCAA tournament.
Nice moment. Jacqueline Barnes comes on, just the 5th time this year. Has played 46 minutes this season for TCU, but steps onto the pitch here in Round Rock. She's out of Spring, Texas from Klein Oak High School. Final 5 minutes. TCU was in the final last year and won it all in a comeback against Texas. There will be no rematch, as West Virginia made sure of that. Instead, the Mountaineers stand in the way of the Horned Frogs of consecutive tournament titles. I mean, we're talking back-to-back titles possibly for TCU, who had never won one before last year, and yet how quickly Eric Bell has reinvented the expectations for the purple and white. Mark Carr goes to his bench as he brings on Marianne Baltmanis, the freshman from Flower Mound. After Haley Hartman put in a really nice shift.
On paper, I think that's the big difference between TCU and West Virginia, is that goal production. There's 16 players on TCU's team with a goal. 20 players have at least a point for TCU. They're very deep. We've seen that tonight with the amount of subs that Coach Bell's been able to go to. Very luxurious, especially they're probably going to get some lighter opponents in those maybe first round, second round of the NCAA tournament. So to have that ability to go to your bench and be really confident in these players is huge for a team that does want to go to the Final Four.
Lauren Memley was directing traffic. Clance up to Castaigne, a couple of freshmen. On a tough shot taken by a Horned Frog, just trying to make sure they won that goal kick. This was earlier today. All 3 of West Virginia's goals this week have come from seniors with their season possibly on the line, including Lauren Segala with her 2nd this week in Round Rock.
Yeah, this time it was a counterattack off of an opportunity at the other side. Texas thought maybe they had a PK and they let up for just a second, and that allowed this quick counter and just lovely finish from Laura Segala into that far post, enough to put the game away.
That was in the first half. Mountaineers able to defend that advantage for more than 45 minutes in the second half to close it out. But now TCU is 2 minutes away from confirming the matchup on Sunday. And for Oklahoma, the future is bright. Talk about the recruiting class, the performance of this year's freshman class. But of course, whenever we talk about promising futures, you're always mindful there are seniors who are playing their final moments. At least on Sunday, a young freshman was able to buy them at least one more span of 90 minutes to suit up in the crimson and cream.
Yeah, and for TCU, I mean, this tournament couldn't have gone any better so far. I mean, really 2 easy games for them, ultimately, right? Walks in the park, in a sense. He's Coach Bell been able to rest Messiah Bright, some of his starters quite a bit. They've executed really well both games. So I think he just wants to continue this mentality going into the final and then keep the march on in the NCAA tournament.
They've outscored their opponents this week 8-1, as they'll keep this ball in the corner for as long as possible. It's be a TCU team that has found 8 goals this week, a West Virginia team that has found 3. We expect slightly fewer fireworks when these two teams get together, especially if West Virginia has their way. As it'll be 2-seeded TCU, 4-seeded West Virginia playing for the Big 12 title on Sunday. We'll have it right here on ESPNU. For Oklahoma, their season's going to come to a conclusion. 9 wins, 8 losses, 3 draws. After they finished 6th in the Big 12. Making it back to the Big 12 tournament this year for TCU. They're going to find their 12th win. They'll try to make it a baker's dozen if they can go back-to-back in this tournament on Sunday. Final seconds counting down, and a foul is going to be awarded. And no time to kick it. For the second straight year, the Horned Frogs, your defending